Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Very Cold Lasagna podcast, your filthy casual place for all those filthy casual takes on the world of sports. I am your host, DylanLasagna. This is episode number 162 of this icy yet spicy podcast. Today, we got a good show for you all because, well, I decided that I haven't done this particular type of episode in quite some time, and well, for good reason, but I wanted to come back to this specific format for this episode, and that is none other than the Multitopical Wrestling episode. So for those of you that are new here, what is the Multitopical Wrestling episode? So basically, think of the Multitopical Wrestling episode as like your normal average kinds of podcasts out there. They talk about like different types of areas, topics, all in one episode. Well, as you can tell by my podcast, if you ever happen to listen to it, I like to keep my episodes, every one of my episodes, focused on one particular topic, one particular thing per episode. So it doesn't get too spread out, doesn't get too jumbled up. But since this is the Multitopical Wrestling episodes, we've done 2 of them. I pretty much like one of those normal podcasts where we talk about this thing or that thing, this topic, that topic. We talk about a bunch of things here in the Multitopical Wrestling episode. And that's what we're here back to do today in episode 162. So, yeah, before we get into the swing of things, before we get into this episode, a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Make sure you follow the show on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. And yeah, listen to the show wherever you get it, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and make sure you leave a review, whether it's 1 or 5 stars, and a rating as well. And yeah, your feedback means the world to me. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button especially, and leave a comment with your takes, your opinions on whatever I'm talking about in each episode. So yeah, your takes, your opinions. I'd love to hear what you have to say in whatever I'm talking about, whether it's WWE, AEW, anything about wrestling or football or sports. Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say and yeah, have a discussion. So yeah, and then of course, it's just spread the word of mouth about Very Cold Lasagna. It could be good, bad, with a friend, a stranger, some guy in the store, anybody, man, because yeah, the support means everything to me as we continue to climb up here in the casual sports scene. So yeah, I just appreciate whatever support that's coming along the way. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the Multitopical Wrestling episode number 3, Revenge of the Casuals. However, I'm not going to be doing it alone, ladies and gentlemen. No. Because for the first time ever here in the show history of Very Cold Lasagna, yes, it took 163, if you count episode 0, all the way back when I started. We're going to have our very first ever guest here on Very Cold Lasagna. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you're all ready for the guest that is to come. He has been a long time person of mine that I've been wanting to have here on this show. And yeah, I hope you all are ready for this guest. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the Multitopical Wrestling episode number 3, Revenge of the Casual Wrestling Fans. So joining me now here on Very Cold Lasagna is our first ever guest. He's a wrestling fan for quite some time now. And our first guest ever here on the show is Samhain. How are you doing today, Sam?
Hey, what's up? Hey, really glad to be on here with you, bro. It's been a while. Man, I don't know when was the last time we done a video together.
Honestly, I don't know, man. It's been a really long time. It's been 2 years.
It's been a long time, man.
2 years since we were last together. It's been forever. Dang. It's been really long ass time. So before we get into our actual topic, which is normally I try to keep things down to one topic, but on a rare occasion, we do the multi-topical episode, which is like a variety of topics that, wrestling podcasters like to do. But
Yeah.
before we get into...
I'm really new to this.
It's all right. No worries. But before we get into our multi-topical escapade, I just want to know, how long have you been a wrestling fan?
I've been a wrestling fan. Okay, I started getting into wrestling fully around 2015, 2016, but I was introduced to wrestling by my dad when I was little. Like, he would like show me like little clips of like old school matches. I think the first one he showed me was Undertaker versus Mankind in a Boiler Room match. That was the first one that he showed me. I ever since then I was like really interested in like trying to get into wrestling, but then my dad kind of told me, it's like, it's like really like extreme, because back then it was like, of course, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, and then later on, around 2015, 2016, that's when I fully got invested into it, and I've still been into it ever since then.
Nice. What would you say is like your favorite moment in your time of wrestling?
Oh man, I gotta say, when the Wyatt family and the Shield feuded, that was actually pretty intense.
I know. I remember that time when they first faced off. They teased it, and then they had that match at the Elimination Chamber. It was like pretty insane. It was like pretty insane when they faced off one another.
Yeah, I remember that, and I just want to say rest in peace to Windham Rotunda, known as Bray Wyatt. I just found out he just passed away this week, and it's still sinking in, and I don't know what to even say. I'm just at a loss of words of like what happened to him, and it just came out of nowhere, and I was literally just relaxing, and just trying to. I was doing chores and I got the news, and my fiance was like, "Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?" And then I told them about it, and it was just like, it just hit me like a freight train. It
was a sudden shock to all of us last week when we heard that news. Definitely to me as well. Rather than take it as a shock, what would you say was your favorite moment from Bray Wyatt throughout his lifetime?
I gotta say, my favorite was when he created the Fiend character, and before then, when he won the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber for the first time. That was actually a very surreal moment, because I know he was kind of like jobbing a lot, and then he finally got a chance to show his true potential, and he's really great on the mic. And what I really miss about him is this genuine smile and how he is towards his fans. And that's what I always strive to be, is just trying to be, really just smile a lot and just be strong, And it still shocks me that he's gone, And I remember the last time we saw him at Raw, I think it was a dark match when he attacked Seth Rollins when he was Universal Champion at the time. And it was just an awe moment, seeing him there, and it's just like really heartbreaking knowing that he's gone. But I know that death is not the end, and it's just like a continuation of life.
I agree, man. Bray Wyatt had a lot of amazing and interesting moments, and then you hear all these stories from wrestlers. Like whether it's backstage or like current wrestlers or wrestlers that are now in different companies that have known Bray Wyatt, and they've known him as a really great guy that's been friendly and approachable and very innovative, to say the least. But yeah, I believe he'll have a very lasting legacy, not just in WWE but in all professional wrestling when it's all said and done. But
I agree.
Absolutely. So now we shift from Bray Wyatt and your fandom of wrestling to our first topic of our multi-topical escapade. And I know we've been critical of professional wrestling where it is at right now, and we can definitely go into a lot of like problems that we have with wrestling, but I want to like keep it narrowed, keep it simplified, because we have a lot of other things that we need to talk about. So we're gonna narrow it down to just one big pet peeve. So what is your biggest pet peeve with today's pro wrestling?
Okay. Wow. I don't know where to start with this. I think my biggest pet peeve in wrestling is the lack of characters. Because, of course, The Fiend, that was a character that we could get behind on. And then nowadays, it's like, okay, who's this person's character? It's like, oh, he's a prize fighter, or he's, a rough and tough badass or something like that. It's like, but that's not even close to being a character. A character is like, for example, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the list goes on. But it's like we don't even see that nowadays, and then it just gets me really uninterested in wrestling, and it's sad because I do still want to keep on following and watching wrestling, but it's kind of hard nowadays when there's not any characters or any wrestlers that you could fully get behind on. And then there's some wrestling fans that say, oh, push this guy or push that guy or push this girl. And then it's like, but what's so special about them? What's their character? Can they draw a dime, And I know there's a few wrestlers nowadays that do draw dimes. Like, of course, Rhea Ripley. I love Rhea Ripley. She's really phenomenal. And I really like how she can draw the crowd and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of characters there, and while there are certain wrestlers that I do have a little bit of disagreement with you on there, but I mean, hey, everyone has their own personal taste. I mean, that's how it is at the end of the day. But yeah. I want to follow up on your biggest pet peeve, because I do agree that the lack of characters are certainly is my biggest pet peeves also, but I'll add on to that is the lack of meaningful stories, because like if you look at some of the ongoing storylines, whether you watch it through clips or you actually watch through the whole shows, it's there's not really a lot of story progression going on right now. If you look like at an episode of Monday Night Raw, like whether it's this past week or last week, especially in the month of August, the biggest problem that I have with Monday Night Raw right now is that with Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day, it seems like a lot of recycled content. Regardless of how much they can draw in the crowd, it feels like a lot of the same. We're the Judgment Day and we run Monday nights, and then you see them in the same main event, just interchanging people. The problem is like, what are they exactly running? What is their purpose? I've had issues with the Judgment Day since they've arrived with, heck, even Edge. Like when even Edge was on the scene. And again, this is not me hating on the actual people. This is just me hating their on-screen characters. I mean, like, disliking them. But in the end, it's just like I have an issue with the booking, the writing of these storylines, because they're just like, they don't really mean anything in essence. But the caveat of this, though, the polar opposite of that, is the bloodline. Like, aside from the bloodline, which has been the only saving grace, the only actually well-written story in all of professional wrestling, it just feels like the lack of characters and the lack of stories, which the story part being my biggest pet peeve right now, is what's hurting pro wrestling right now.
Yeah, like the Bloodline storyline was literally the only storyline that people like literally got invested in, and literally what drew people to watch SmackDown. And I noticed that numbers were going up and up and up on SmackDown because of the Bloodline and the whole storyline and everything. And yeah, then you look at Monday Night Raw. I know you have the Judgment Day on there, but exactly what are they there for? It's like if they're just there, then I believe that they all should just split up and do their own thing. Like Rhea Ripley's got her own thing going on.
I love Rhea, but I find the addition of Dom and Dom having that relationship is so goofy and corny. I think they should settle down. I was just lifting weights. I'm sorry, but no, I think it's really getting old.
It's getting
that gimmick is
I
getting
wholeheartedly
way old.
agree.
I know, and I feel bad for Rhea Ripley's real life husband, Buddy, because
What's in the air right now?
oh my god, I can just see him punch in the air whenever Rhea Ripley like does something new with Dom.
Yeah, they have a little too much chemistry.
Oh, way too much chemistry. A little bit too like Edge and Lita kind of chemistry. Oh my god.
Do you think?
I hope it doesn't lead to that.
Do you think it's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's what me and Mason were just saying. And I was like, why is this?
I don't like it.
I know, and it's like oh my god, I can't tell you how many simps are in the comment sections whenever they post a video. She has
like the best comment section ever.
Oh my god, it's literally a gold mine in the comment section. It's like literally people are saying, "Oh, mommy, step on me." I'm just like,
oh no.
I'll leave my husband if you mess with me right now.
You know, there was an actual picture of someone getting stepped on by Rhea Ripley, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Wait, what? I did not know about this.
At a SummerSlam meet and greet.
Oh my god!
I probably asked for that.
They probably paid top dollar to fucking get that photo taken.
No, it was for free. It was it was for free.
Wow.
For free? Wow, she's very generous.
Yeah.
Doing it for free? Okay.
Oh, good
yeah,
lord.
I know both of them are. I know Dominic is getting ready to get married. Oh my god, it's weird saying Dom and Dominic because that's literally the name of my little brother Dominic. So it's like, okay, it should. Yeah,
Thank you.
I know.
You know what I think of?
I did show my little brother some clips of wrestling, and sometimes I would get like his stuffed animals. Like he has a Cookie Monster stuffed animal and a Olaf stuffed animal from the movie Frozen, and I would make them like wrestle and like do like tombstone pile drivers or like power bombs, stuff like that. And my little sister Gracie and Dominic, they would get invested into it, and my dad would just come home and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just entertaining the kids."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, I just hope they stop this whole corny shtick with Dom and Rhea and they just do their own thing. Because I know Dominic is North American champion, which I'm really happy for him because I know he's only known as, Ray's son. And now he's doing his own thing. And I'm actually really proud of him for doing his own thing. And he is a heat magnet, which I'll give him credit. But he needs to work better on the mic. He needs to have a little bit, machismo, a little bit more, a little salt and pepper on that potato.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because he's kind of bland at the moment.
I agree. I think Vince Russo recommended this on one of his Raw reviews that, since people have been booing Dominic so much that he can't speak, why not give him earplugs so he can't hear all the massive boos? I mean, and I think that's not a bad idea. I think that's
You're right. You're right. It is not a bad idea because I know I could see on Dominic's face and I could tell he is anxious and he I'm talking about Dominic Mysterio he whenever the whole entire stadium boos him out of the building,
he has to realize that's part of the gimmick.
Yeah
they know
how it is, but maybe you should give him an anti-anxiety or something. I don't know if he's having a really hard time.
Yeah, because I know he freezes and he just stays still. And I do really feel bad for him because I know he's a young talent and they didn't put him through NXT like they should have, in my opinion, just so he could work with the crowd and know how it feels, and then work his way up to like, bigger, larger crowds. But since they just threw him into the main roster without, little to no preparation, he's like a deer in headlights when people boo the fuck out of him. And it's like, oh man, poor guy.
He is like almost like an object of entertainment or a prop for Rhea, it feels like at this time. He's like a prop.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just a prop for
speaking of props, what about that women's world title?
Oh my god. I don't know what they're doing. It's just another reskin of the WWE Championship. I don't get it. It's like, okay, AEW, I'm just using it as an example. At least their belts are not carbon copies and they're like actual like legit championships. Like they look legit instead of just like a repaint or a reskin. It's the same formula that they've been following with it ever since the Universal Championship. And I miss the old school look of the belts, and including the Intercontinental Championship belt. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the new look of the Intercontinental Championship belt, but I wish they would have applied that with the WWE title. Like, make it worth fighting for. Make it an actual gold, legit belt, because people are fighting and wrestling and putting their bodies on the line for a belt that's literally just a reskin of the WWE belt from like years ago, and it's just, that's another pet peeve of mine. I hate reskins. Like, they're literally just changing it from like black to blue to red, and then with the women's championship, it's white and blue with gold to like gold, white and blue or some shit like that. I just don't get it. And it's just not, it's still following the same formula. I don't get it.
I think a lot of it has to do with WWE marketing, trying to market their belts better. Like, let's say, like, you probably don't know this person, but when I talk about sports, I talked about this guy like named Travis Kelce. He was carrying around the newer WWE title belt. He wants to carry around that belt very more often. Like, let's say that he carried around the Wing Eagle. He was like, I don't know. So it has to do more with like marketability. I don't agree with that tactic myself, because let's say Wing Eagle or even the older undisputed title, that at least looks like a championship. That the newer titles, which you call, like I said, I agree, are reskins. It's just more of a marketing ploy. So yeah, I just think it's more of like their newer title designs are more for marketing, so they could go to like the Today Show or Jimmy Fallon or go on ESPN. Like, so I mean, well, I can't necessarily blame them for like trying to go that route. It doesn't make it any more uglier.
Yeah, you do got a point. You do got a point, man. And I 100% agree with you.
Absolutely. So yeah, we talked like one of our biggest pet peeves, which went into a lot more pet peeves. But I want to like shift away from the negatives and let's at least bring a little bit of light into it. Like, so what would you say?
Talk on the positives.
Yeah, what would you say is your one biggest positive in the current landscape of wrestling?
Okay. I gotta say it's becoming a bit more mainstream now, and that it's growing a little bit more in popularity since they're involving with like big YouTube stars, like of course Logan Paul. And I'll have to say, even though I am not a huge fan of Logan Paul, he is actually really freaking good in the ring. He is amazing. I had to give him that. And I gotta say, my favorite moment of Logan Paul was when he fought Roman Reigns at what was the name of the pay-per-view? I totally forgot. What was
Crown
it again?
Jewel. It was Crown Jewel last year.
Yeah, I like the shot where Logan Paul was like mid-air, ready to like
Yeah.
throw a punch, and then Roman Reigns is ready to do a Superman punch. That shit was like cinematic. I actually enjoyed that match, and that spot with him and Ricochet at the Royal Rumble, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. So at least they're bringing in popular mainstream YouTube stars to like give WWE a boost, and then also Logan Paul doing his podcast with many wrestlers to like know their character even more and know who they are, and people get invested into them. I like that. That's actually very good that they're doing that with Logan Paul with his podcast. So it's a win-win for both WWE and for Logan Paul's podcast. And let's see. Another thing that I really like about about WWE at the moment is that they're pushing away from the kid product and more into like an adult kind of product. I like that because I know they tried the PG era and it did not live up to its potential. Because it's like I know they wanted to like they did that just so they could brand it with like toys and figures and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
they they knew that the PG era it failed, it fumbled. So now let's try something new. Now let's try something more extreme, and that's another thing that I'm really happy that WWE is finally doing and acknowledging. Acknowledge me. I just had to throw that in there. That they're just pushing the limit. Like, how far can they go with like wrestling as a whole? And I really can't wait to see what they have more in store. And also another thing, LA Knight. I love LA Knight.
Yeah.
He's really good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say like one of my biggest positives is going back on what you said is trying to go trying to go a bit more mainstream. Yeah, sure. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes the ratings on TV don't reflect that. But at least they're trying to bring in like stars that are actually committed to the product, like you said, Logan Paul, and Pat McAfee. Like last year, like I really
God, yeah.
really enjoyed Pat McAfee during his time with WWE. And especially his
he was
commentary.
really good as a commentator. His commentating skills were like really good. It actually got me hyped up for any match, even if it was like Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali or some shit like that.
Right. And then it's like, and I know sometimes like the TV rate, like I said, even though the TV ratings don't always reflect like how popular wrestling actually is, it sounds kind of contradictory to stuff I said on the show. It's like, at least they're trying to like climb back up through different means, whether it's getting celebrities on the shows or expanding their reach on like Twitter or X, whatever you call it now, Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
So, at least they're trying different stuff to expand their reach. But like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They have to take their shot.
Exactly. They got to try, what they can do to see what works and what doesn't work. But since, they're taking it up on social media, it's definitely working.
Exactly. So speaking of things that have worked, we're gonna talk about the Bloodline, and this has been going on for about a couple of years now, and this has definitely has been something that some people thought wasn't gonna work, but it has actually absolutely has worked. So we've been in this story for about 3 years and counting now, since the pandemic hit in like 2020. But obviously, we're about to hit the 3-year anniversary of Roman coming back and becoming a Universal Champion. So I just like to know your thoughts on this whole Universal title reign with Roman Reigns and the overall Bloodline story.
Okay, where to start with this? Well, I know Roman Reigns has definitely came a long way, from being a stale potato on the mic and no character, but now he has grown into a more larger than life character, and that's what I really like about Roman Reigns, that he did it on his own. He learned from his mistakes, and he said, okay, what can I do to fix this? What can I do to make my character just better than ever? And he plays a really good heel. I never liked him as a face. When he tried to be a face, it just didn't work. But as a heel, it works phenomenally. And I am just really happy that this storyline has happened, because it definitely has built up more stars than ever. Like, look at Sami Zayn. He was like a jobber from NXT, and then now he's like this, like, he's up there along the ranks as like main event material. Like, literally, him and Kevin Owens main event of WrestleMania against the Usos, they all deserved it. And I'm really happy that that match happened, because it's been a long way for them.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, that Roman Reigns has absolutely come a long way with, where he was at with the big dog suffering succotash,
oh god,
and him just like trying to like, and part of it is not his fault. With him trying to like get over as a babyface, some of it had to do with like behind the scenes and like Vince McMahon and trying way too much to push him as the next big baby face. And I guess him not being involved in WrestleMania 36 was kind of a blessing in disguise, because he was supposed to be part of that, but then because of the pandemic, he just didn't want to do it because of his own health concerns. And that break actually gave him a absolutely great reason to, like you said, take some time to think about his character and finally pull the trigger on the heel turn and go full gear with the tribal chief and then full gear with the bloodline. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I'm just really, I'm actually really proud of Roman Reigns, Joe, for his character development and his like overall like work and all that. It's I'm just really happy that that he's came a long way. And even every single wrestler that I didn't like but now like, it's like, wow, they proved me wrong. I like it when wrestlers do that, like prove me wrong, give me a reason to like your character. I don't hate the actual real person. I care about every single wrestler because they're putting their life on the line, and it's just their character that I don't like. But I like it when they prove me wrong when it comes to their character. Like, prove me wrong, give me a reason to like your character. If it's great, then I'll get behind you for the character, And I'm just happy that a lot of wrestlers definitely proved me wrong, and that's what draws me back into wrestling.
Absolutely. And then before we shift away from the bloodline, where do you see the bloodline angle in the next several months as we going into Royal Rumble in 2024 as a whole?
Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest about this. I have no clue where it's going to lead to, because since, Jey Uso left the company, quote unquote, and I don't know what they're going to do with Jimmy. Maybe they're going to give him a solo run as a heel or face. I have no idea. What is he? Is he a face? Is he a heel? I don't get it. I literally don't get it.
I think what's going on is that I don't remember if that SmackDown after SummerSlam where Jimmy was telling him. I think I explained this. It's like Jimmy didn't cost Jay his brother the undisputed title because he was. I think he also explained this beforehand. He was worried that if he won the title and the tribal chief status, that he would be corrupted just like Roman. So that's why he cost them. So he didn't necessarily say he was a heel. He was a heel, but he's also not like a babyface. So right now he is a tweener, but we have to wait and see. He was supposed to explain what exactly his status is, but obviously we haven't heard anything yet. So
yeah, there was supposed to be a segment last Friday on SmackDown, but of course, what happened with Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, they had to move it to like the next Friday for Jimmy's segment. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, and I don't know if the Bloodline storyline is gonna end with Jimmy or Jay. I honestly have no clue. So I'm just gonna sit back, watch, and just let them cook. I'm just gonna let them cook.
Yeah, that's all we can do at this point. Just that's pretty much the whole Bloodline story. So far, it's just like when you think it's gonna end, or when you think that this is gonna happen. Oh no, WWE always has something else behind their sleeve. That's pretty much the whole Bloodline story.
I wonder what they got planned in store. And okay, here's my one wish that I know it might not happen because I know how WWE is, and I know I said like, oh, a dream match for this character or that character. I really am really hoping that we get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania or something. I want that to happen because come on, that is perfect. Like literally, Roman Reigns is being horrible towards the Usos, being a narcissistic, manipulative, tribal chief. And it's like, okay, then who is up in the higher ranks in the Hawaii family to put Roman in his place? None other than The Rock. Like it would have been so perfect to have that as the main event, but I don't think WWE is even thinking about doing that at all, and that's just sad.
Yeah. It definitely was the perfect opportunity to do that at this past WrestleMania, with it being in Hollywood, and then Roman's still the champ. I mean, obviously the outcome would have been predictable, but you had a money match right there. But then Rock has no time or doesn't want to train to do that match, but. Yeah, it is what it is at this point, and I just don't see. I agree with you. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Not in Philadelphia, not wherever the next WrestleMania is. Like, it's the. I guess you could say it's the one dream match that will never happen.
I know. I don't like it when WWE does that. It's like they literally could have a gold mine and they just be like, oh no, we're not going to do that. It's like, of course, with Undertaker and Sting.
Yeah.
Remember our first video that we did together, our first collab, that I mentioned Undertaker and Sting?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not going to happen ever. And I accepted that. I knew that wasn't going to happen. And then, of course, The Fiend versus the Demon King, Finn Balor. That didn't happen, unfortunately. And then now, The Rock and Roman Reigns, it's probably not going to happen. But on the show, The Young Rock, they have been teasing it. They have been giving us little clips there and there. It's like, no, don't do this, and then not follow up with it,
Well, sometimes what happens on those kind of shows, it's probably never going to happen. So we're still a little bit far out, but never too early to start thinking about 2024. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. So everyone's talking about it already. It's only 7 months out, but hey, never too early. Man. So I want to ask you, like, who do you have having win the Royal Rumble, both on the men's and women's side?
I would say Godzilla. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's see. Oh man. I know Rhea Ripley won the previous women's Royal Rumble, so that's out of the question. Even though I would love to see her win again, but I want to give it to someone else. Shoot, I have no idea. Oh man,
you have to think who's going to be champions by then, and.
Man, this is actually really difficult because there's not really anyone new on the roster that I really like on the women's side. That
did someone just say Nikki Cross?
Mason said Nicki Minaj. Oh, Mason! Oh my God, little adorable bean. Yes, I called you adorable bean. Okay. Okay. I honestly don't know. Okay, I'll come back to that while I'm talking about my pick for the men's side. I
Sure.
want LA Knight to win. Like
Yeah.
literally, he's really good on the mic. He's got the charisma. He's got the look. He's got the attitude. He's in his prime. Give him a shot. Like seriously, give him a shot at a world title or something. And that is something I would love to see as LA Knight as champion.
Hmm.
But for the women's side, I'm just gonna go with a random wrestler. I would say Gigi Dolan or Blair Davenport from NXT. I don't know. I'm just saying that was random.
Yeah, no worries. I'd say for my Royal Rumble 2024 picks, the men's side, I'd say either LA Knight, but I'd go with the current heavy favorite right now. I'd say Gunther.
Gunther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gunther, because if you see his Intercontinental Championship run right now, like dude, he kind of has like a balanced approach. Like he's unlike LA Knight, he still has like a couple more years behind him. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't want to say LA Knight has the age deficit because he's like around 40, but and he has the it factor, the character. But what Gunther has is he still has several more years ahead of him, and he also has the mic skills. He also has the character, is the ring general, and the in-ring skills too to back everything up. And
oh my god, his chops are so deadly. Like, oh my god, like I've seen the aftermath of whenever a wrestler gets chopped by Gunther. Oh my god, they have welts and big hand marks all over their chest or back. It's deadly. Like seriously, I would not want to get chopped by him. Like seriously, I would probably my heart would probably fucking stop if he chopped me or something like that. It's like holy shit.
Dude, I think it's more so deadly as the Big Show. No, more deadly than the Big Show's chops. Like, dude, it's like I don't want any part of that.
Oh my god. But imagine if Big Show and Gunther had like a chop off fest and they started like chopping the crap out of each other back and forth to see who has the most like lethal chops. That would be perfect.
Oh man. But yeah, it's like aside from the chops though, Gunther like has more than that. He does other stuff too, like power bombs, his finishing power bomb, and he also has like more technical submissions to his arsenal. I mean, just look at the triple threat match at WrestleMania that I got to witness as well. It's like that match with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus is just a prime example of how well Gunther is with his balanced moveset. So I think him, once he drops the Intercontinental Championship, once he breaks that record from the Honky Tonk Man, I think it's time to go all in on Gunther going for that World Heavyweight Championship. And then I guess for the women's side, it's been a heavy debate. Like, I don't know if I think it's best you don't look at this on Twitter, but there's been a heavy debate on the women's side. But I'm gonna be public about this on the podcast right now.
Okay.
I want Liv Morgan to win the Royal Rumble. So let me tell you why.
Okay.
So there's this whole story going. There is a backstory to this. So she has been feuding with Rhea Ripley for like the whole past year. Like they had this whole tag team. That's called Live for Brutality. They was kind of a makeshift tag team though. But I think a couple weeks after WrestleMania last year, Rhea betrayed her to join the Judgment Day, and then while Liv necessarily couldn't beat her other than being the last person to pin Rhea Ripley, but still she's kind of had a little bit more success than Rhea. She won Money in the Bank, and then became the SmackDown Women's Champion. But then Rhea won the Royal Rumble, and then went on to win that title too. So it kind of counteracts each other. And then, she went on to, again, cross paths again just a month ago when they were when they're setting up that feud with Raquel Rodriguez, and then I think it was like Rhea like kind of cost Raquel and Liv the tag team titles, and then Liv attacked her later on that night, and then the next week Rhea took her out. Rhea wrote her off TV because she had to go deal with that injury. So it all depends on when Liv Morgan does come back from that injury, how severe that is, because I think that's the only thing that kind of holding me off on that pick, kind of holding off on that pipe dream, to be honest with you. But I do think though that the story's there. She kind of has to finish that story. I don't think that's something that WWE, for as big of a nose that Triple H has, or maybe even Vince, whoever is in charge of creative, I don't think this is a story that you should ignore. I think, Liv Morgan also was the last person with Rhea Ripley in that Royal Rumble. The only reason that Rhea was able to eliminate Liv was because of Asuka spraying that mist on her. So I think,
I remember.
So I do think that, if Liv Morgan is going to be back come Royal Rumble time, I think that's the perfect place for her to return. If she's healed up earlier than that, I think you should be able to hold her off by then. Have her stay a little bit longer on the sidelines, then prep her up for the Royal Rumble, and then have her go to distance and win the damn thing. And then, let her wait a couple of weeks, tease whoever she's going to face at WrestleMania, then strike when the iron's hot. Go after the person that took you out, and that's Rhea Ripley. So, before we get into the next topic, I want to also tell you why you should stay away from this discourse on Twitter about the Women's Royal Rumble winner. Because people have been talking about Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch as the potential Women's World Title match.
No.
That's why people have been saying, like, Becky Lynch should win the Royal Rumble instead.
No.
So I want to get your thoughts on that.
She already won the Royal Rumble. Oh, no. Oh, my. Okay, here we go. Okay, I got to sit down for this one. Okay. Holy smokes. Okay. Becky Lynch already won the Royal Rumble, so what's the point? I know they already started teasing it like back then before Rhea Ripley was champion, that they were, gonna have this feud and all that, and I was not behind it at all because we already know who's gonna win, and that's of course Becky Lynch, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I like Becky Lynch, but it's that she's already, had her moment, to shine, to win the championships and all that, and I'm happy for about that, for that. And I just think it's better if they give the spotlight to new up and coming women wrestlers. Like of course Liv Morgan, let her have her moment at WrestleMania where she faces Rhea Ripley. That I would actually get behind on more than Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And I know Liv already won the championship, but I want her to have a proper, legit run where she actually can hold her ground, And that, I agree with you. I really want that to happen if Rhea Ripley is going to drop, the title to Liv, which I have a feeling if they went down that route, she would, then give it to Liv.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best route that they can take. I mean, Becky Lynch versus Rhea. I mean, I have my disagreements about it, but I can understand why WWE wants to go that route because it's two big names finally going at it. But as you said, it's like, and I also said this on my own opinions on this as well on Twitter. It's like, what's the point of this match happening? How does this benefit anyone? And then some of the counter arguments I've seen, it's like, they have 7 months to build a story towards this match. So you're basically gonna make up a reason for this match to happen. So that's what people are telling people that don't. These are just basically people that either really want this match to happen or just don't want Liv Morgan to get that spotlight, or maybe someone else. They just want Rhea versus Becky. I don't know. What do you think?
I just want Liv versus Rhea. That will be a lot better since they used to be tag team partners and Rhea Ripley betrayed her. That's a story right there. Liv could say like she's held that grudge ever since she's been put on the shelf and she's coming for that title no matter what. Like there you have something going. Let them cook, let that stew brew, and let's see what happens. Like literally, like that is perfect.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you there. So speaking of WrestleMania, we already talked about one of the potential matches that we both want to see. What about the other matches? We don't have to go through both nights because it's like well too early. It's like 7 months, actually more than 7 months ahead. But what else could we possibly see for WrestleMania in Philadelphia in Eagles Landing in April next year?
Oh man, I really wish The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the main event, but I know that's not going to happen. But that's my prediction. I'm just shooting hard for this one. I have to.
Oh yeah,
this one is something that I really wish can and could happen. It's literally the perfect main event. You know, the true head of the table. It doesn't have to be a title match. It could just be a regular match and have The Rock win. Then that will really bring Roman's ego down and humble him a little more, and then he could drop the title to like someone who can hold the company up. And okay, I would like to see either Shinsuke as world champion against Damian Priest, maybe, or vice versa, Damian Priest against a random opponent, maybe Finn Balor, because I know there's some tension between him and Balor ever since Balor lost to Seth Rollins. So it's like, okay, there's something right there. There's a little jealousy storyline which I could see work, and that'll potentially split up the Judgment Day. And I would like to see Dominic Mysterio go up against Rey Mysterio one more time, like champion versus champion, but I highly doubt Rey Mysterio will be champion by the time WrestleMania 40 comes around, because I have a feeling that he's going to drop the belt to Austin Theory at Payback. That's my prediction for Payback. So maybe Rey Mysterio could challenge Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship, and then Dom takes the W for his final match with his dad or something. And let's see. The others, I have honestly no clue. I would like to see Gunther go up against Chad Gable one more time. That would actually be a pretty good Intercontinental Championship match. And, of course, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. That would actually be really great.
Rhea Ripley versus Chris Motionless.
Oh, my God. That I would pay top dollar. I would pay top dollar to see that match happen.
I think Chris Motionless would get his ass whooped.
Oh, he would like that too.
God.
He probably would.
Oh,
and let's see. I think that's it on my end. I have no idea what other matches would be perfect for the card, but I would love to hear yours, Dylan.
Sure. I try to be realistic, but also, try to throw one or two like wild things out there. So obviously, like I said, like the one I really want to see the most is Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the women's world title. It's the one that makes the most sense. Like, yes, 8 months out from WrestleMania. Maybe if they make things really personal, since they're in Philadelphia, go Extreme Rules. It's actually the last match that Liv lost when she was a champion. So, and ironically, something I forgot to point out, it was it was the same area, the same city where she lost her last world championship. So yeah,
that
Extreme Rules.
Perfect.
So it would definitely be it would definitely be a really perfect place, challenging for the championship that she actually lost before it became the Women's World Championship in the same city that she lost it in the same match type, if they played their cards right. But other than that, I realistically see with Roman Reigns, I hate to say, I talked about this already. It's going to be Cody Rhodes. It's going to be the rematch for the undisputed title.
Oh, okay. I have a feeling that they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like you
Oh
can
my
see,
god.
you
I
can
know
literally
they're
see it
gonna
coming a
do
mile
it.
away, because
Yeah.
like the way that ended at WrestleMania this year, like I was like as I was like trying to get out of the stadium because I had to leave hella early, but I was trying to like I could clearly see like, oh, it's Solo Sokoa, in the hoodie, but and then since then it's just been like the whole John Cena redemption thing from over a decade ago.
I
So
know.
yeah,
Oh
we
man.
know it's gonna happen in Philadelphia. Like I know, I think I said this. The inevitable is pretty much unavoidable at this point.
I know, and they're gonna do that whole rematch shit with Roman and Cody. It's like, can we just can Cody just go after the world championship instead of the unified what are they even calling the championships
It's
now?
still
I'm
called the
really losing.
undisputed. It's still called the undisputed universal, and it's stupid. But they don't want to like. They also at the same time don't want to like let go the WWE and the Universal title because Roman still has the 1,000-day reign going with the
Yeah.
Universal. But then obviously you still have the 60-year history of the WWE title. Actually, 70 years of WWE, the WWE title. I don't know, but either way, they don't want to let
Oh,
go of both titles, so it's kind of dumb. But yeah,
I know.
we're gonna hit the rematch with Roman versus Cody in Philadelphia. Speaking of the World Heavyweight
Uh,
title, I have Seth Rollins versus Gunther, or maybe even Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, for the World Heavyweight Championship.
that would actually be really great. But I heard that Rollins has a fractured spine and he has been dealing with it for a certain amount of years.
Yeah, I heard
And
that
I
too.
know that, back pain and back injuries are just out of this world, like horrible. And it's making me really concerned for Rollins because he probably doesn't have that much time left on his end. Because I know that he's doing more movies now. Because I know he's going to be in the new upcoming Captain America for New World Order. I know that he's going to be a villain in that movie. So it's like maybe he's going to be going off to Hollywood just so he can retire from wrestling. And that day, oh my God, that's going to be hard to see because me and you both grew up watching Seth Rollins from the ground up when he was in FCW to NXT to WWE, and then oh my god, I don't even like thinking about it. I don't, but
Yeah,
I understand because I want him to play his cards right because it could potentially leave him in a wheelchair if he isn't careful with the way he lands or who he's wrestling against. It's like a serious thing, and I'm concerned about him.
yeah, and I definitely think that if he drops the title, I think it's the best. I don't like saying it's the best thing, but I do think it's the best recommendation for him to drop the title at Payback, whether it's him dropping it to Shinsuke, even though it's kind of rushed, or having Damian Priest have his cash in at Payback and winning the title, so Seth Rollins can get some much needed time off. Because to be honest with you, like you said, he definitely needs some time off. With those with that fractured spine, it's like it.
Exactly. And a wise man told me your health comes first.
Yep. But my only kind of concern with Rollins taking time off is like you don't have a top babyface on Raw. I mean, yeah, absolutely, your health comes first, but there's also another side to the coin, and I'm pretty sure that Seth Rollins knows this too. I mean, yeah, his health does come first, but then he also knows that he wants to put he wants to be there with the fans too. And yeah, even though I'm not necessarily in agreement with this character where it is at now, I definitely respect the work that he puts in the ring. So, and if he goes take a looking at it from the business side of thing, if he goes to leave to take a break, I mean, I would understand it, but looking at it from that perspective, it's gonna leave a big void, especially with football season coming around. If he does take a break after Payback. So yeah, I do think if we're looking at it 8 months ahead, I do think Seth Rollins versus Gunther for the world title, if Seth does drop the title or if Seth is the world champion by that point. A couple of other matches that I had on my predictions list, my very early predictions list, is, well, a couple of other women's matches other than the one I mentioned already. I do think at some point they're going to have Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair, because you have to have another marquee match on that card.
Of course.
Yeah, you can't have either it's just going to be a non-title match. Maybe they won't shoehorn a title in for once with Charlotte, or maybe they will. And then if they don't shoehorn the women's title on Charlotte, they'll maybe have a triple threat for the women's title. Maybe, for as much as a not very much a fan of this, as I like to call them, the Splatoon girls, Damage Control. Maybe if Io Sky is the champion by that point, I doubt it. But if they want to do the triple threat, then yeah, so be it. And then I'm gonna throw a few other wild cards out there. I want this match. Edge versus John Cena. One last time at WrestleMania.
Oh my god, yes. That would actually be really great. I've always wanted to see at least one more match between them. But is Edge retired or something? Because I know his WWE contract expired.
His
oh my god.
his contract, I don't know. I don't know if his contract expires next month, but we don't know if he's gonna re-sign or fully retire. But there's also been like talk that he might go to AEW, which I really don't want him to do.
Oh my god, why, dude? Why does everyone think that just because a wrestler doesn't want to re-sign with WWE that they're automatically going to AEW? Maybe they just want to take a break. Maybe they just want to do movies instead. Maybe they just want to retire early or something and save all the backache, and the lifelong injuries that they would sustain from staying in the company too long. I just don't get it. I don't know why some wrestling fans say, "Oh, they're going straight to AEW." It's like, are you serious?
Because they think AEW is the magical world of wrestling. They think it's much better than the evil WWE.
Oh my god! And I don't like it when wrestlers who were in WWE, they go to AEW just to trash it. Like, of course, with Saraya, she was shit talking about WWE.
Sorry,
and,
I don't like Saraya anymore.
I don't. Dylan. Yeah, I don't like Saraya at all. I don't. She
leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh yeah, major. Yeah, it's gone worse ever since she left WWE, and it's. Don't get me started.
I've lost respect. I've lost respect for Paige or / Saraya, but if it's not Edge, if it's not Edge, faces John Cena, and then again, that's if Cena's available. I want Randy Orton, if he's healthy. One last match. Randy Orton versus John Cena in one last politicking WrestleMania match.
Oh my god, that was
like I'm not gonna put you over, brother, or I'm not gonna put you over, brother.
Oh my god, I remember that match that they had at the Royal Rumble. I just had a malfunction right there. Excuse me there, folks. The Royal Rumble, where they were doing like different finishers. I think they were doing each other's finishers, and the whole crowd was just like booing the shit out of them.
That was so bad. It was not bad on their part. It's just the fans made it so much worse than it needed to be.
Oh my god, that was the smarkiest crowd I have ever seen.
Just imagine if it was in Philadelphia in front of 70,000 fans. Oh, it would be great. That's why I want it to happen even more, because it would be not just the greatest fan experience ever, but it would be the greatest backstage bullshit ever. It's like, who's going to be the one to put the other over?
Oh my god, I love backstage bullshit in both companies, because I know there was like more going on with Punk in AEW, because I heard that he got in a scuffle with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry what's his name again?
Jack Perry.
Jack Perry. And because I think Jack Perry wanted to use real glass instead of fake glass, and then he got pissed off at Punk or something, and they had like an argument, and they kicked Jack Perry out of the stadium or some shit.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Oh, I didn't know. That's interesting. Might have to check why that happened. Like, I didn't get a chance to watch all in yet, but we'll see. And then my last two matches, I had Jimmy versus Jay. But I'll see because they have to find a way to stretch that brotherly feud out until WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
And then, well, I mean, because we haven't talked about, because I mean, we did talk about Becky Lynch, like often, in the last couple of minutes. But I mean, since we're not gonna put her in the women's world title match for actual valid reasons, I mean, because it's WWE, because they need to put the man on the card. I mean, they have to I'm just trying to help them out here and like see where they can put her on. What kind of match they can put her in. It's like damn.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I know that they're going to have Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, even though, okay, my memory has been horrible. Did it happen already?
It did happen in NXT, but it was a no contest, like back in 2019 when they're building up Survivor Series. But people want it to happen for real at WrestleMania. But not to further sidetrack from like what Becky Lynch could actually do is, well, yeah, they want it to happen at WrestleMania because it would be like a first actual match. So that's why. But
I know that they're gonna definitely do that. But I really want Rhea versus Liv. You're right.
Yeah, but it's like you have to think of like what they have to do for Becky as well. And I'm trying to think like what they can do with her. It's like you can't just shove her into like some random tag team match, or like you can't have the feud again with Trish Stratus, which has been awful, or another legend. So I guess the best feasible thing is maybe against someone from NXT, or maybe some main roster star that can use the rub on her. Like the only person,
Lyons, maybe,
huh? Nikita Lyons.
Nikita Lyons,
if she's healthy, if she's fully healthy to go, if she can be built up by that point, or maybe Tiffany Stratton, like the NXT Women's Champion, or Raquel Rodriguez, someone that can use the rub on the main roster. I don't know. It's still a long ways out to WrestleMania. Still a long ways out to the Royal Rumble. Yeah, but we just don't know. We don't know what we can predict. But hey, only one or two can dream. Only one can two can dream.
Exactly. Well, we'll just have to see what WWE cooks up, and just like what I said, let the stew brew.
Exactly, man. And with the stew brewing, that also brings an end to our Multitopical Wrestling episode, the third edition of that escapade. And thank you, Sam, for joining me on this escapade and being our first ever guest on the show. Things may have derailed a bit, but that's okay. We always love to derail here on Very Cold Lasagna with the very cold fridge into that very cold lasagna. So Sam, where can they find you? Wherever social media that you have.
You could find me on Mr. Halloween Man Sam on Instagram, and I don't really use Twitter that much, but it's actually Mr. Halloween Man on Twitter. That's where you can find my social media on. And it's been an honor being on your podcast, Dylan. It was really great talking to you, and I am definitely looking forward to the future of wrestling and to more podcasts of yours, for sure.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. And with that, thank you for tuning in to episode number 162 of Very Cold Lasagna. I'm your host, DylanLasagna. And once again, thank you to our guest and my longtime friend, Sammy Hain. You can follow him on Instagram at Mr. Halloween Sam on Instagram. And then, as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And, of course, leave your takes wherever you can, whether it's on YouTube or on Instagram or Twitter, wherever social media that you follow me on, at Very Cold Lasagna. And yeah, until next time, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge, and peace out.